guys, if you're enjoying our videos, don't forget,
like and subscribe below. Yay, it's a date night. The one night during the week that we don't really have the kiddos, so we get to just kind of do some alone time.
And I can't recommend doing it enough. It's with our schedule, I with B working full time, Z working full time. Sometimes during the week we feel like ships kind of passing in the night, and so Friday night is something that we really look forward to, getting to go out together and reconnect after our week. It's kind of like regrouping, and we really miss it when we don't get to do it.
I do think that we're really fortunate. Unfortunately, I know that a lot of people aren't able to pay for the child care and things like that. So it's something that I'm really appreciative of and thankful that we have that, because I think just keeping the chemistry, keeping the spark alive, just, helps to preserve a marriage, right? We just don't want to be roommates. I don't think that's a healthy marriage, So anyway, date night. We'll see you guys later. Hello. So I wanted to touch on what I thought was an interesting topic, I guess you can say. I want to talk about how Charles came to marry, or first date, a Black woman and marry the first Black woman that he dated, and kind of I don't want to say the struggle, but the journey that it was getting to know what comes with, I guess, dating a Black woman. Don't laugh. That's real. That's real. That's real. And just to give a backstory, Charles and I met through online dating in 2020. And, prior to Charles, I've dated men from all walks of culture. As long as you treat me respectfully, I like your personality, that's all that really mattered. But I think when we first started talking, it was kind of a red flag, I should say, initially with talking to Charles, because he told me I was the first Black woman that he dated. And in my mind, it was just like alarms going off, like on and on and on and on, because I never wanted to be a fetish. And I felt with my dating experience with certain men, not all men, but with certain men, um, my complexion could be a fetish. And I'm a whole woman, okay? My skin color is a part of me, but there's other aspects of me also. But anyway, don't let me talk for you. Let's start off with how do I start off? Why? It's hard. Prior to me, what made you not approach a Black woman?
That's something we've talked about before, and so I'd never been on a date at all with a Black woman before.
Prior to me, yes.
Prior to you,
yes.
And
why?
It's not because I didn't find Black women attractive. I just, growing up, there weren't a lot of Black people in my community. I didn't have I didn't have really any Black friends growing up, and so I just felt that culturally I didn't understand a lot.
Did you ever see Black ladies, like celebrities on the TV or in magazines, like, oh, she's attractive?
Yeah.
Like who?
Like who?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember.
Are you nervous? Okay, go ahead.
No, but I just didn't know. It's weird. For some reason, I just had a thought that black women needed something that I didn't understand what it was.
But didn't you go to a pretty diverse high school?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were around a lot of black ladies there or black girls there.
Yeah.
In college too, right? It was pretty diverse for you.
Sure.
So none of those experiences kind of helped to. I'm not judging
Well,
you. I'm just saying. I'm just thinking about your environment. I'm like, in those experiences, there was people from all different cultures and races, right?
well, yeah. I mean, I kind of hung out with. Well, I hung out with white people and black people.
Okay.
Well, and Indian people and Asian. I hung out with
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah,
With
yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
But yeah, for whatever reason, I just thought that, you know, for some reason, I just thought that I need to date a white person.
Okay.
Uh,
So coming to when you swiped right on me, what made you? Did you think I just wasn't going to swipe left on your profile? What made you swipe right on this black woman's profile?
you looked, well, first off, you were very attractive.
Mm,
And
yes.
and secondly, you're interesting. And I had no clue what it was that you did.
Okay.
Because
Why?
you
Why do you
had,
say that?
well, as I know now, you were a first year medical resident, but you put that weird thing up there. It was like
Oh, PGY,
PGY.
postgraduate year one is what it stands for. So it means in medical or residency talk, you're in your first year of residency training, is what it means.
I
Medical training.
I had no idea what it was. I thought you raised plants
How douchey
or
was I though to put it on there and assume people would know? I don't know. But anyway, just looking back in
it's
regards
a
to
little
that,
douchey.
it was. But
But
anyway, so you thought I was attractive.
yeah,
My profile was a little intriguing for you. Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay.
And I thought, why not? Because I mean, there's never been a specific reason why I didn't date black people. I just, it just never occurred to me that it was something that I could do.
Okay, okay, okay.
As weird as that sounds.
No, I think it's probably the case for a lot of people. I think for me through college or through at least half my 20s, I only dated black men. I didn't think, not that I was intimidated or anything by anybody, from any other culture or race. It's just what I was familiar with. And I think a lot of people, are still that way. Let me ask.
Now you dated a couple white men prior to me though.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I've dated white men. I've dated, from Pakistan, of course, black men. So yeah, it really was just about someone who I thought had a great personality, um, and who would treat me right. I think is where I was at. Now let me ask you, once we started talking, what were some of the initial obstacles you found with dating me or things that you had to become accustomed to?
So being in my obviously my family, there's nobody else who's married a black woman
Yes, they don't
or a
even
black person.
have
Yeah.
no color.
Yeah.
Okay, in the
Yeah,
family.
we lack diversity in the family.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So that was interesting,
Yeah.
telling people, oh, I'm seeing this lady, she's amazing, and
She's
do I?
blackety black.
But now,
Yes.
but it's weird. So, and I went through this gyration. Do I say, oh, she's a black lady?
Yeah.
Or do I wait until people meet you and they
And
find
say,
out,
oh,
oh, she's a black lady?
is that going to be the response?
Because the way I thought is there's no reason why I shouldn't be dating a black lady.
I like that. I like that.
So is it, am I being overly sensitive, or am I lacking circumspect if I think that when I'm telling somebody about you, that I have to say, oh, and she's a black lady?
Isn't it sad that you have to think so hard about it, right? Do I
Yeah,
introduce that I got this black lady, or do I just say, hey, just like anybody else, this is the lady that I'm
right.
dating, you know?
But it seems like
What did you do behind the scenes? You just say, "Hey," and she's a black lady.
No,
Okay.
I think that I stopped mentioning that as being something that had to be said.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's almost like what's wrong with things if somebody has to be prepared in that
Yeah.
way?
Yeah.
Watch out, it's a black woman.
Yeah. Brace yourself. Yes. Uh-huh.
But I found since we started dating, and obviously come a long way past dating, married
Yeah.
and all that stuff, um, I found a lot of interesting stuff like that. You know, interesting things about the way we sort of compartmentalize ourselves in our social groups.
Okay.
You know,
What do you mean by that?
like what's the way we think about what's appropriate and what other people expect,
Oh,
and how we feel like we have to navigate those things.
I think that's just a human nature though, right? And it occurs there's different I think it's human nature, right? Whether it's black or white, but we try to figure out how do we navigate our social environment. You get what I'm saying? So I don't think it was wrong. I feel like you were trying to navigate, you know, new waters, so to speak, though. You know what I mean? And I think I was the same way when I initially started dating individuals from other races or other cultures. I think I became very cerebral. Like,
Mm.
do I explain that this is not a black guy? Or do I just bring him out? Like, how does that go?
Because
Um,
on the flip side, I mean, your family has no white people.
yeah, that's true. There's not even a caramel. There's nope, nothing.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm trying to remember. I don't think I braced my mom or just by the way, at some point it just came out in that way.
I wasn't the first white guy though.
But I never really introduced people to my family.
Okay.
I had one boyfriend and he was black in my early 20s that I introduced and they did not love him. Um, but I think after that, you were the second person, right? And that was in my early 20s. They met him at my undergraduate graduation. But other than that, I didn't, unless I knew that I was going to marry this person, I made a vow that I wouldn't introduce him to my family. So let me ask you, okay, so you talked a little bit about being cerebral, thinking about, the introduction to family and friends. What were some of the things you had to get used to culturally for me? I can think of one or two when we first started dating.
Some of the things I had to get used to culturally for you. So probably the things about our discussions about remember when we first started dating, when we were first doing our phone conversations before we'd even met,
Yeah,
I think, when we were talking about social issues. I think relevant at that time
yeah,
was George Floyd, was the whole
yeah,
BLM
yeah,
thing.
in 2020.
and and me, I wasn't a very conservative person. I wasn't a very liberal person. I was kind of in the middle, maybe tending towards being a conservative person just because of finance and, wanting lower taxes
Yeah.
and things like that. But as far as social issues, I was really more of a libertarian person.
Mhm.
I'd always been a pro-choice person, things like that.
Okay.
And and so and so but I'd never really looked deeply very much into racial issues, and I didn't really have a lot of opinion
Yeah.
on racial issues.
And I think that upset me. I wanted you to be, I feel like there was no opinion and I felt like you weren't informed. Of course, I had my point of view. And yes, it would have been great if you thought the way that I thought. And that wasn't probably the right, you know, thought process for me to have. But I'm just saying, of course, I want someone to side with me. But I was just annoyed that you weren't even informed. about the world around you. I felt like you were just in a bubble. I live my life, I make my
Hmm.
money, I take care of my kids. But I'm like, there's a whole world around you, right? And it may not affect you directly, but these are your fellow humans. I wanted you to at least be, you know. But I think that was part of my struggle with you. But I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. And I think on the other side of that, being somebody who is totally consumed with taking care of kids
Mm-hmm.
and kind of living in my little bubble where I make my money, take care of my kids and stuff like
Yeah.
that, I think that I took a little bit of offense to the idea that I should have all this free time where I go form opinions about these different issues in the world.
Yeah, but I don't think, and I know it's changed for you now, but I don't think that it takes a lot of time to be informed. I mean, we have news at our fingertips, right? You just turn and you can see a title and click and get like a quick 3 sentences to summarize things. I don't think that, you know, it required extensive research to be
Yeah.
informed, right? Granted, I know things have changed now. Um, and we had some real, I guess you can call it arguments. Like there were some points, I don't know for you, where I thought, he may not be the guy for me.
Yeah, we almost didn't get through it.
Mm-hmm.
We almost didn't get through it. I, to me, what was really good was that it forced me to look outside my own perspective and my own
Yeah.
experiences.
Yeah.
Um, some things I had just never thought about.
Yeah.
You know, for example, I'd never really sat down and thought hard about what it would be like to experience this world or our particular society as a black person.
You know
Uh,
what that is, though? What they
what?
call that? That's being empathetic,
Yeah,
right? Putting yourself in someone else's shoes. I think we should
yeah,
all do that, you know. But go ahead. Mm-hmm.
yeah. No, being somebody who his entire life has been a white heterosexual male.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I've never walked into a place and thought, I wonder if everybody's judging me based off of my appearance.
Yeah.
I've never had to think about that.
Yeah.
And but now, our through our relationship, and especially that now that we have a black baby,
Mm-hmm.
these are things my son has to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And so it causes me, when I look at things in the world, when I read about events,
Mm-hmm.
when I walk around, I'm always thinking, how would this experience be for a black person?
Yeah, I think you are sometimes in situations you're more sensitive to what's going on than I am. Like, oh, this is not a good place for us to be. So I think you've grown in a lot of ways too, which I think for me, that's kind of what made me continue with our relationship. While I didn't think you were the most informed about the world and politics and things like that, I felt you put that effort into learn about it, which was important. You made the effort, right? It's one thing I think to just be stuck in ignorance, but I don't think you were lazy in that regards. I think you, okay, I like her and I'll give it a shot. I'll read, and for a few weeks after we got into that argument, you started bringing up like news topics to me. I'm like, okay, all right. Well, did you see in, 1960? I'm like, okay, thanks. Got it. So I think that was something that I appreciated because I did initially think that was going to be a breaking point. Like, I just can't do someone who's not informed about the world. But what's funny is after we got over that little hurdle, this sounds weird. Like, I see color, and I hate when people say they don't see color because you should see color,
Right.
and color is beautiful. But I never, you were just my person. It wasn't that I am with a
Yeah.
white guy, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't register in that way. I obviously was aware that you're a white male, but it didn't come off as uneasy. It just felt natural, the relationship, right? I don't know if you felt the same way too.
I I mean, anymore, I just feel like you're my person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I felt that way for so long that I don't remember what it's like to not feel that way.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
And I I think to me the these things for me these things didn't become relevant until they were things that involved people I cared about.
Mm.
You know, like the things about the world.
Let me ask you a real question. If you
Yeah.
never married or dated a black lady, do you think you would care about the things that go on in the world?
No, I probably wouldn't have changed.
Mm.
Well, I would, so I would probably be the same. I would probably be a person who still had the potential to change because I was always a person who had the potential
Yeah,
to
you always have the
change. I always had the
potential.
potential, but I just never had a catalyst that made me want to do it.
I mean, that's honest. That's honest. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I was never a racist person. I was never uh, I was never a, you know, on the opposite side of any of these things. I was just neutral and uninformed to the point of being part of the problem, honestly. Um, because, you know, and especially with some of the things that we deal with today,
Yeah.
where you have a big group of people on the other side. And I feel that, you know, if you're uninformed, if you're being neutral, then it's the same as telling those people
Yeah.
on the other side that it's
Yeah.
okay for what they're doing.
Yeah. 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 Um, I want to get into some fun things. Well,
Okay.
kind of, I guess you can say fun-ish. What are, and I'll give you example. What are some small things you have to get used to? For example, a lot of black ladies wrap their hair. We take our braids
Oh my
down. What are the other things you had to
gosh.
get used to? Oh, didn't you look up? What did you look up with hair
If I could
or?
touch your hair. Yeah,
Where did you see that you couldn't touch a black lady's
I don't
hair?
know.
I mean, I'm glad that you did look it up, but
I think on a movie or something at one point in time, I I gathered that it was okay to touch black ladies' hair, and so I looked it up on the internet
I
if
can't
it
remember.
was
Did you
okay.
ask? I think you did.
Did
Like,
I
is it
ask
okay?
you?
Yeah, it was just so weird. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Like I didn't know if I could do
It's
it.
such a weird thing. Can I touch your hair? Okay. Can I touch yours? But yes. Did you like do a whole Google of what to do, what not to do with a black lady?
I didn't do a whole Google, but I asked about the hair.
The particular the hair?
Yeah.
Okay. 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 Was there anything else that was different as far as that you had to get used to with a black lady?
Well, definitely the head wrap at night,
Yes,
like
I like a
the
head
wrapping
wrap.
the hair at
Well, hey,
night.
you started wearing a little
I
head thing
did.
now too. Okay.
I did.
Keeps your
I
head
got into it.
warm. For us ladies, it keeps our style or our hair down.
I
Yes.
have a little sleep cap that I put on at
Ah,
night.
such a
It's
nerd.
she hates it. I
I
love it.
do. Such a nerd. But you
Yeah.
see. Well, yeah. Well, thank you for taking the time, at least being vulnerable with that, about talking about your journey
Oh, you're welcome
dating a black
anytime.
lady. I know I'm amazing, so of course. But anyway, guys, on that note, we will talk to you next time.